Welcome viewers. In the topic laws of motion, we have discussed first law of motion. You know what is first law of motion? In which it refers to the simple case when F external, force external on an object is 0. Force is not applied. But what about second law? It refers to the general situation when external force acts on a body. We will see today second law of motion. What is that? Before going to the second law, we should know about the force, on what factors it depends, not only mass and acceleration. One more term, that is momentum. You all must be knowing already that what is momentum. You know, momentum of a body is quantity of motion possessed by it. If momentum you represent with P, then it is a vector quantity. Its formula is mass into velocity at that time. So it is vector quantity given by mass into velocity. Its unit is kg meter per second, and this is the dimensional formula for momentum. This momentum being a vector, we should know how it is the quantity of motion possessed by it. With the help of examples, we can discuss about the effect of force or the momentum, how are they related, because they all are the very basic part of the second law of motion. Look, momentum as product of mass of an object and velocity. It is a vector quantity. We have given here the unit. If any object, its momentum is P, and for the mass constant we draw its graph for velocity versus momentum. We find that for constant mass P is directly proportional to V, then how will you get the graph like this? Similarly, if the two objects are moving with the constant velocity, then what will you find? P and mass of the objects, they are directly proportional. That means larger will be the mass, more will be the momentum out of two objects which are of different masses. Here bodies of same masses but moving different velocity, then larger will be the velocity, more will be the momentum from this relation. What about momentum if you draw the velocity and mass curve? You know, for the two objects moving with constant momentum, their momentum is same. Then what is the relation of m and v? Inversely. Then what will you get? The graph for that here, you look here, that if this is the velocity and this is the mass, then this will be the v inversely proportional to m. What is here constant? P. What is here constant? V. So in this way we can find that how momentum or the mass and velocity, they are related with each other. You know, in every motion we have seen force is parallel to the acceleration, but not always parallel to motion. F may be along the direction of velocity, or opposite to the direction of velocity, or perpendicular to the direction of velocity like the circular motion, and at any angle with the velocity. What about the effect of force we can learn on motion? Look, we take two objects of different masses. Suppose small m of lighter mass and this is capital M is greater mass. If they are to be driven with the same velocity, so they are, you have to apply some force. By your common sense you will be knowing that larger will be force applied to the greater mass. because velocity is to be kept constant, then larger will be the mass, more will be the force required, and lesser will be the mass, lesser will be the force required. You can also understand that if they are heavier body and lighter body, they are coming towards you, then you have to stop. Lesser force is applied to stop the lighter object, and heavy object needs larger force to be stopped. You can also understand that if the two masses, one of lighter and other is of heavier mass, both are falling freely, in the free fall their velocity is constant. What I mean to say, when different masses have same velocity, then force is required larger for the larger one mass. In the same way, we can see the effect on motion if we say that two objects of same velocity. For the first case, two objects of different masses moving with the same velocity, what will you conclude? Large force will be required for heavier mass, just we have seen. Thus, mass is an important parameter to determine the effect of force on motion when we have taken different masses. Now, in the second example, if we take same mass moving with different speed, how will you give the example? Suppose the bullet is fired and same bullet is thrown by hand, or its velocity is very less as compared to muzzle speed, the speed with which the bullet is fired. What do you observe here? That for the same mass we find greater the velocity, greater the opposing force to stop it. You know, bullet pierces a large distance in a target when it is fired from the gun. So, for the same masses we can see what is the effect of force on the motion, that greater is the velocity, so greater is the force required to stop it in a certain time. In this way we can say that mass and velocity both, what is momentum? Product of mass and velocity. How the momentum is defined? The product of mass and velocity of an object. Then mass and velocity both, that is momentum, is a relevant variable of motion. Then we can say that force not only depends on mass, velocity, but also the momentum. And you know what happens? Force is defined as rate of change of momentum, and this is the second law. The second law of motion given by Newton states that rate of change of momentum of an object is equal to the applied force on it, and the change in momentum corresponds in the direction of the applied force. What does it mean? Not only rate of change of momentum is equal to the applied force, you have to say, again listen, what is second law of motion? The rate of change of momentum of an object is equal to the force applied on it, and the change in momentum occurs in the direction of applied force. So it has two parts. You will see that force not only depends on change of momentum as per the version just I told, what is second law, but also how fast it takes place. How can you say this? Rate. You know, the second law is written as force applied is equal to rate of change of momentum. Rate means upon delta t, time interval, change delta p. Sometimes you are asked that what is force? You say force, second law says force equal to mass into acceleration. this is not always true. The second law is force, applied force on an object is equal to rate of change of momentum, and also the change in momentum occurs in the direction of the applied force. You can get F equal to ma from this, but when the mass doesn't change. Normally you take the mass constant, but what happens in case of rocket? Variable mass. As the fuel is consumed, its mass decreases. Then you can't say F equal to ma there because mass is not constant there. How will you get F equal to ma from this relation? No, simply look that delta P. How can you write? Delta P means final momentum minus initial momentum. You can write here P final minus P initial upon this time interval. You can say T2 minus T1 or simple delta T. What is P final? If the mass is constant, if m is constant for an object, then what will you write? This F can be written as mv minus mu upon delta T, this T2 minus T1. At T1 initially velocity is u, initial velocity, and at T2 velocity is v, so you have written final momentum. What will you get here? You take m common, so what will you get? V minus u upon delta T, and you know what is this? This v minus u upon delta T is the acceleration. So finally, what will you get? This mass into acceleration. And this is true only when m is constant. Otherwise, if m is changing, then how will you say that second law? How second law holds in that situation? Look, when m also changes, then how you write? Look here, I am giving you the explanation for that. Second law says that rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force. So how will you write here that if F, you can say, is rate of change of momentum. Momentum is mass into velocity, and if mass is not constant, then you can write here that at any instant this can be written as d by dt of momentum, that is mv. How can you write this? As mass into dv by dt, first function into second derivative, plus second, that is v, into first one, that is dm upon dt. Now look, if you know how to write this delta p by delta t in this way, then this is the perfect equation for second law of motion. How can you say this? If m is not changing, it is constant, then d by dt will be 0. And what will you get? This m into a, dv by dt is acceleration. Then this will be only ma. So in that case, when mass is constant, what are you getting? F equal to ma, same here. And if mass is not constant, in case of jet, when the rocket carries fuel, then mass decreases when the fuel is over, then dm by dt is negative. Then you find that this equation, this is the complete equation for the second law of motion. Now we can also find that how the momentum can be written and force also can be written in component forms, that is in 3D. Look, if in the along x, y and z axis you can write the components form, then how will you write the equation? Look here that F equal to dp by dt, and F can be written as in the x direction, component of force is Fx I cap is the unit vector in the x direction. Similarly, Fy j cap plus Fz k cap. You can write force in this way. Force is a vector quantity. What about dd by dt of momentum? So what will you write here? In the same way, d by dt of px I cap plus py j cap plus pz k cap. And you know this pxi, py, pz, and if you write in the form of object in that equation in which you can take the condition when the mass of the object is constant, then what can you write? This force is ma. Then the same expression can be written as m into ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. So by comparison, the part of force along x direction, y direction and z direction can be equated with the momentum or acceleration like this. You can write here this Fx, that is the part of force in the x direction. How can you write this? The magnitude will be this dpx upon dt, or you can write m into ax. Similarly, you can write Fy as dpy upon dt equal to may, and Fz can be written as dpz upon dt equal to maz. So in this way we can say that how the Newton's second law, that is equation of force, is applicable in different direction, how the force is applied. Now if m is also variable, we have seen this equation. M is constant, we have seen this equation. What are the important points about second law? We can also say that second law is consistent with the first law. This question is asked that prove that second law is consistent with the first law. You know what is first law? We have seen in the first law when external force applied is 0. So you will write that as per first law, F applied is 0. F applied is 0 means if the mass of the object is constant, then you can write mass into acceleration is 0. Since mass can't be 0, so you will write acceleration is 0. What is acceleration? V minus u upon t is 0. What does it mean? That v equal to u. Whatever is initial position, if initially body is at rest, u is 0, then v will be also 0. And if the body is moving with velocity u, then after certain time you will find final velocity v equal to u, that is final velocity will remain same. So what is the first law? You started with the, as per first law, external force applied on object is 0, then the body or the object will not change its state of rest or uniform motion. Same is here. How we have shown that it is consistent with the first law. Second law is consistent with the first law. As per second law, if mass is constant, we can write F equal to ma. So if first law says F equal to 0, second law says F equal to ma, so you will write ma equal to 0 and you get this expression. This expression says either u 0, then it remains 0, either u has certain value, it will remain that value. That the body is in the state of rest, then it will remain in the state of rest, or if the body is moving with certain velocity, it will continue. Now we can see that second law is consistent with the first law. We have seen here. Now second law lead to concept of inertial mass. How will you prove? You know, if the force is applied on an object of masses m1 and m2, same force is applied. What can you write? F equal to, you can write F equal to m1 the first object will move with the acceleration a1 and the second object will move with the acceleration a2. In this way it can be written as m1 upon m2 equal to a2 upon a1. What does it mean? That a and m are inversely proportional. That means if m of the body, mass of the body is given, then lighter mass object and heavier mass object, you know, if you want to change its position, they are in the state of rest, then you know larger force is required to change the mass of the position of heavier mass. So more will be the mass, more will be the resistance to change its position. What is resistance to change the position? That is inertia. So we can say that it leads the concept of inertial mass, and we can say these from this equation that m of the body, mass of the body, gives measure of the resistance or opposition to a given force. So in this way we can say that m equal to F upon A is the inertial mass. What can you write here? This m equal to F upon A, inertial mass. Now also we can find that second law is a local relation, that is acceleration is not decided by the earlier history of motion. How can you say that? Suppose at any instant you determine the acceleration, then the moment after a stone is dropped out of an accelerated train, it has no horizontal acceleration. Suppose you drop an acceleration from the accelerated train, then like the projectile motion we have seen, when the projectile motion is a two-dimensional motion, we found that once the object is thrown, then its horizontal velocity remains unaccelerated. The object, its horizontal velocity remains constant, only it comes under the effect of gravity. So it is a local relation. At that time what is force and what is the acceleration acquired. Now impulsive force, another term in the second law of motion. What is impulsive force? Whenever a large force is applied for the short interval of time on an object and it produces a finite change in momentum, then this force is called impulsive force. Impulsive force is positive if momentum increases, negative if momentum decreases, and zero if P remains constant, that is momentum doesn't change. How can you write impulse? Impulse is written as I equal to, what can you write for impulse? Large amount of force for the short interval of time, the product of that force into short interval of time, that is delta T. And you can find here that this impulsive force, how it is calculated, you know, this is also vector quantity. Then if for the short, this impulse which is related shown by I, F into delta T, we can find, how can you write this? Di can be written as this F dt, you can write with the using the vector notation. Then by integration on both sides, what can you find? This will be from T1 to T2, you will get this I equal to F average whatever is, and this is T2 minus T1, or you can write delta T. Graphically you can also calculate from the FT graph what is the impulse to be calculated. If the force is constant, then this is the graph for the force and time interval here. Area under the graph, what will be? F into delta T here. Or if the force is variable, then the impulse is calculated in this way. So in the various numerical problems you will find that this F average force into delta t. And you know what is this force? As per second law, this force is rate of change of momentum. So you will write this delta t into this delta t, this time interval. What will you get? Delta p. Sometimes it is asked that prove that impulse is change in momentum. It is. So in this way we can find how second law is used when force is related with the momentum. Also let us see that force is applied to an object for the same time interval and the same force is applied for different masses for the same time interval. If you apply the same force, what will happen? Suppose this is the lighter mass, then its velocity will be greater. If this is the heavier mass, its velocity will be lesser. After a certain time, you will find the change in momentum for both the objects will be same. Similarly, you can see if you tie the stone with the string and in the circular motion, you find the magnitude of speed remains same, mass is constant, then magnitude of momentum will also remain same, but force is needed to change the direction of motion. To change the direction of motion, we need a force that is called centripetal force. From where you will get? You know, the centripetal force is provided by our hand through the string, and larger will be the force needed to rotate the object in smaller radius with larger speed or both. You know, F equal to mv square by r, we have seen from that relation, centripetal force. So larger is the rate of change of momentum, larger will be the force. How the momentum numericals, impulse numericals, how the examples are given, that shockers are used in the vehicles, automobiles. You know, impulse is F into time interval. So if time interval is increased, then reactionary force will be lesser. So lesser jerks are seen. Suppose two objects are falling at the floor. Cemented floor, you know, it will be not pressed, then larger will be the reaction. And they are falling at the heap of sand, then lesser will be the reaction because the sand will be depressed, then lesser will be the reaction. Force applied to the object will be lesser. In the cricket, when you take the catch, you know, the cricketer they pull their hands backwards, they increase delta t. If delta t is increased, then lesser force by which the ball hit the hands, and lesser is the force of reaction. So the cricketer take the catch, they increase the duration of catch by pulling their hands backwards. So in this way, so many examples based on impulse, second law of motion and numericals also. We will see in the next video questions based on second law of motion and momentum, impulse, graphical questions we will see. I hope you must have enjoyed this. Thank you.